Shalom, and welcome to Tov, the Jewish news channel. We have with us today Marc Zell, who is the chairman of Republicans International in Israel. Good morning, Marc. It's nice to have you here.
Good morning, Rochi.
So we have a situation in the United States with the Supreme Court of Colorado disqualifying Trump from running in the primary in that state. What are the implications of that decision?
Well, the implications are radical. This is the first time anything like this has happened. For the benefit of your viewers, the basis for the Colorado Supreme Court's decision was something called the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, particularly Section 3, which says that no person shall hold any office, civil or military, under the United States who, having previously taken an oath as an officer of the United States to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion. And this is a clause that has almost never been interpreted by the courts. And this Colorado Supreme Court, consistent with the views of some radical Democrats, has taken the idea that this clause allows them to disqualify the principal contender for the presidency of the United States from appearing on the ballot of the primary election in Colorado. If this decision were to be upheld, and I don't believe it will be, it could mean a radical transformation of American democracy, certainly have a huge impact on the 2024 election. Now, when I say upheld, the next step in this process will be an appeal, undoubtedly, to the United States Supreme Court. I know one of the organizations who's representing the Colorado Republican Party that is already going to be filing an emergency appeal to the United States Supreme Court. And my guess is, based on my reading of the amendment itself and the literature in this area, that the Supreme Court ought to reverse this decision, probably unanimously. That would be an important step. We'll see. It'll happen in the next several weeks if it happens.
Wow. On what basis has this decision been based? Trump hasn't been indicted for insurrection. He hasn't been officially accused of insurrection. On what basis does this come?
No, that's an excellent question, and that's one of the problems with the decision. They're taking the plain language of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, and so now transforming it into this club, which they can use like an eraser, where they can just wipe somebody off the ballot without any trial, without any indictment, without any due process. And that is something that really flies in the face of the most fundamental principles of the rule of law in the United States, our Constitution, and due process.
Well, that would basically turn the United States into a banana republic, because they'll be using gossip and fake news and a rumor mill to base a court's decision on.
Yeah, well, the United States is well on its way, sadly, to become a banana republic, given the weaponization of the law enforcement agencies of the United States, the Department of Justice, the FBI. It's just beyond belief. This step is like a quantum leap into surreality and tyranny. And so I'm more than confident that once this case gets into the Supreme Court of the United States, that they'll accept the case for review and they will reverse. They must. Otherwise, they'll make a mockery of our electoral system and all the values that America holds dear in terms of the rule of law, democracy, and the primacy of the American people to determine, and their right to determine, who will their leadership be, not the courts, but the people should determine. Even Donald Trump's principal contenders in the Republican primary, like Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey, Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, have all said that this decision from Colorado is an abomination. It cannot stand.
Okay. It has echoes of things that happen here in Israel, of the courts making decisions and overruling the Knesset and accepting candidates for the Knesset that the elections committee have disqualified and disqualifying candidates that the election committees have qualified and so on. So it kind of resonates very, very strongly with what we have experienced and are experiencing here in Israel.
Yeah, I think you're right to draw that comparison. There are many differences between the U.S. and Israeli electoral systems, but there's no question that the intervention of the courts in a matter of this magnitude and this manner is something that a democracy cannot stand. And I don't want to reopen all those recently closed wounds about judicial reform, but every country, every self-respecting country needs to pay close attention to the careful balance of powers between the three branches of government: the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial.
Thank you very much, Marc Zell, the chairman of Republicans International in Israel. And shalom to our viewers. Don't forget to like us on all your our various channels: Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. Shalom.